beware of perverts in the wild. A simple run by a woman and she's being targeted by a freak. But he made a mocking gesture and told him to get out of the way. But he didn't realize that the other guy reached out and stabbed him, instantly causing him to scream in agony. Covering his broken hand, he fled in panic. On the way, he met a warm-hearted man. He took him to hide in the woods, watching the deformed man disappear in front of her eyes. The girl thought she was saved. She climbed up to the pit. She was about to thank him, but he pulled out an axe. The agonized woman looked up, but she saw the deformed man and the uncle. Together, they smiled perverted smiles. It turns out they're in cahoots. Not only do they look perverted, they're even more perverted in their hearts. They often prey on tourists passing by. Then they dragged the woman back to their cabin. They hung her up and ate her. 5 college students were going on vacation, but when they turned the corner, the old man suddenly appeared. The students braked hard and swerved. The car crashed into a tree. They got out of the car in a panic, but they saw the old man lying on the ground. He looked like he was dead, but they hadn't hit him at all. Billy cautiously went to check the situation, but then he turned around. He pulled out a knife and slid it into Billy's arm. Lucky Billy dodged it. His teammates kicked the knife away. They surrounded him and beat him up, but they didn't know he was playing weak on purpose so that they would let their guard down. Not far from the mountain, the 3 freed brothers are happy to see they were about to shoot arrows with their bows. Then the siren suddenly sounded. A patrol car came by and stopped the fight. The policewoman saw 3 young men brutalizing an old man. They arrested them on the spot. They also seized drugs from the car. It turned out to be a group of delinquents, so the police took the young men and the old men away in order to prevent them from having accomplices, leaving a police officers here to guard the scene. When the deformed boss saw the lone policeman, he let out a horrible laugh in excitement. He rushed out with a bow and arrow. The sergeant drew his gun and warned them not to move. However, the deformed boss shot a few arrows straight through the sheriff's thigh. He was incapacitated in an instant. Finally, he screamed in despair. They were eaten by several people on the other side of the interrogation room. In order to protect his teammates, he took all the blame. He said he brought the drugs himself. The police didn't test positive on them, so they let all of them go, except Billy. While the policewoman was investigating the old man's identity, she found out a lot of information about the old man. He is the fugitive serial killer. When the policewoman verified his identity, she reported it to the headquarters, but it's too late. I can't come back until tomorrow. Maynard laughed at that. Maynard said to him evilly, I can't guarantee you won't see the sun tomorrow. The policewoman thought it was a threat. She just smiled a little and didn't respond. She thought the old man was delusional. Meanwhile, 3 freaks went out in the night and brought down the town cell tower. Cell phones and all communication devices were instantly cut off. The police department lost contact with the main office. The policeman on duty saw the sabotage on the court fee. They immediately went to stop them. I didn't realize that when the deformed man saw the prey offered to him, he couldn't control his excitement. They pounced on the police. They overpowered the police. They tied them to the electric wire. Smelling the smell of barbecue, the freak brothers were dueling, and the accident paralyzed the town's electricity. The town was plunged into total darkness, and Maynard in prison kept threatening, my boys are on their way. No one is getting out of here alive today. The policewoman was a little panicked, but she was reassured that it was just a coincidence. On the other hand, Julian was on his way to deliver food to a friend. He came across a deformed man. He ran away screaming, but just as he turned the corner, the freak came out of nowhere and killed her. Cruz saw that his girlfriend hadn't come back yet. He came to the detention center, asked everyone, but no one saw his girlfriend. He didn't think twice about it. He sat her down across from his brothers. But what they didn't know, the freak brothers were in the middle of a small town massacre. A couple heard a knock at the door. They tried to look through the cat's eye. They were grabbed by the freaks as soon as they stepped forward. Inside the house, Rita heard the noise. She came out with a pipe to help, but one blow didn't knock him out. Instead, it made him more energetic. The deformed man pressed him to the ground and prepared to sexually assault him. Seeing that she was about to be sexually assaulted, Rita was lucky enough to pick up a dagger. The deformed man dodged the pain. Rita managed to escape, but Gus was out of luck. He was chained to the car. He's been injected with 5 tranquilizers, hammered into his thighs, hammer by hammer. The pain was so clear you could feel it in your bones. After his legs were smashed to a pulp, Freak left it in front of the police station. He opened his mouth and begged for help. When I saw the policewoman, I thought it was salvation. The next thing I know, I'm being run over by a car. give people hope and then despair. The policewoman realized that these people are perverts. They let Yellow Hair and the others out, each with a shotgun. We'll fight the freaks together. As long as we can't hold out until tomorrow morning, we'll be able to wait for support from the general administration. But these two prisoners are obviously not smart. One of their own knocked on the door. They went up and shot him, seduced Billy with Julian's body. They went straight after him to avenge their girlfriend's death, but they were obviously bad shots. Not to mention that he couldn't hit a single shot. He was pounced on the ground and robbed of his weapon. When he woke up, he will see the most horrible scene. With the sound of a lawnmower going off, bones and blood splattered everywhere. His companions ran away in fear. The more he struggled, the more excited the deformed man became. He saw blood spilled on the billboard. He too was brutally murdered. The policewoman was completely terrified. He got the keys to his car and had another inmate drive out to rescue him, but the only way out was rigged with traps. When the prisoner woke up again, he found himself strapped to a tin bucket of water. The deformed man set up a stove and lit gasoline to roast him alive. The policewoman heard his screams. She wanted to help him, but as soon as she took a step, she was blown away. Rita was left alone. What should he do? Rita raised her gun to take revenge, but under Maynard's threats, she lost all will to resist. Maynard told her, "If you let me out now, I'll give you a chance to live." I didn't expect Rita to believe him, but the next moment, Maynard raised his pencil. He poked him blind to let Rita walk out of the station. Luckily, the policewoman woke up at that moment. She raised her shotgun and wounded Maynard. Maynard was so scared, he ran away. She went to the drugstore to look for medicine to dress Rita's wound, but just then, she heard her husband's cry for help. She loved her husband so much that she didn't think about it. Rushed to open the car door, but she didn't realize that this was the trapdoor set by the freak. Pulled the blade and cut open her husband's belly. The policewoman was shocked. She didn't know what to do, but then there was a roar. The deformed man drove a truck to the police station. If he hadn't dodged in time, he would have been crushed to pieces. And then the freaks got out of the truck and beat him up. The policewoman was no match for him. Soon she was knocked out on the ground and woke up again. Maynard also designed a trap for him. Either he's burned alive or pull the trigger and kill himself. Before he left, Maynard ignited the gasoline. He smiled playfully as if he knew the answer. He stood in the doorway for 3 minutes, and then there was a bang. The policewoman couldn't bear the pain. She chose to shoot herself. On the other hand, Rita walked from dark to light. She heard a car approaching not far away. She thought she'd met a good Samaritan, but she didn't know that this was the beginning of a nightmare.
Welcome home, Rita.
In the end, Rita was caught in the forest again.